95-90, your final score here at the world's most famous arena. I'm Kris Pursiainen, joined once again by Chris Carrino for WFUV Sports. The Huskies just took down the Johnnies. Dan Hurley, Rick Pitino went head-to-head, and that was the story of the day, I think. We talked about both of them getting teched up in the first half. Well, the head-to-head battles, that was the story. Pitino and Hurley. How about Tristan Newton and Danis Jenkins? Newton, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. He led the Huskies in all 3 of those statistical categories. Talk about a stat sheet stuffer. And on the other side, Danis Jenkins, 5 assists, the team high for the Johnnies. 27 points, the game high for tonight. And it was just a really great game from both sides. It felt like St. John's played perfectly based on what their plan was. They executed perfectly. It just wasn't enough against the nation's numero uno, as you said in your tweet earlier. UConn 11 of 22 from downtown. Chris, your takeaways after this one?
You know, it was a lot of the same in a lot of ways in that second half. UConn kind of asserted their dominance a little more. Karaban, Spencer, and Newton combining for almost 60 points. They're absolutely fantastic, especially Karaban, one of the more unsung heroes of this core at UConn. He's absolutely fantastic, and the UConn fans absolutely love him, you can tell. And UConn just in general was trying to kind of assert themselves, spread out that lead just a little bit more. But St. John's, it was just playing Don't Stop Believing. St. John's did not stop believing the entire half. They continued to come at this UConn team. No fear in the faces of this UConn team or their head coach, Rick Pitino. And honestly, kind of more of the same, but from a character perspective, this St. John's team showed a lot, and UConn showed a lot as well. St. John's had some resurgences in the second half. The way UConn dealt with that shows why they are the national champions and maybe even the favorite to go back-to-back this year.
Yeah, I mean, even Donovan Clingan, someone who I think has a lot of equity to be a stud player in the NBA, only had 6 points on 3 of 5 shooting tonight, but it was more of his defensive contributions that made it a great night for him. You take a look at Joel Soriano in the stat sheet, 6 points on 3 of 9 shooting. He only took 1 free throw all game, and he did not make it. So for Soriano, it was a rough night thanks to the defense of Donovan Clingan. And then, as Chris said, you had Spencer, Karaban, Newton making the plays. And the other guy, NBA potential for UConn is Stephon Castle, just 2 of 5 from the floor, 6 points, but always making the right pass. And he had 6 rebounds. That's tied for a team high. So for a guard, not too shabby. It's going to be Providence and Marquette coming up next. We have yet to hear about the health of Tyler Kolek, but you have to assume he's not playing based on Shaka Smart's tone regarding the matter in last night's post-game press conference after their win. We're going to see how this one goes. We'll have you covered all night here from Madison Square Garden. Signing off for WFUV Sports, but telling you to stay tuned. For Chris Carrino, I'm Kris Pursiainen.